Hello guys, and get ready for a long Russian geography lesson. And all because tonight more than 100 of Ukrainian drones have visited a lot of evil military objects deep inside the Russian Federation. Actually, I had to make a list of those regions that are now officially a war zone inside Russia. Something that seemed totally impossible back in 2022 is a new war reality for the population of Russia that so much wanted war. Among the best targets neutralized by the Ukrainian drones tonight is definitely Mozdok, a military airbase home to Russian bombers Tus and MiGs, and also an arsenal of missiles in Penza region. But another important conclusion of this night and many other nights is that with each day Ukrainian drones are capable to achieving more and reaching deeper inside Russia, implementing the only working peace plan, and that is to defeat and demilitarize it. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin regime, subscribe, we will discuss that on the channel sometime soon. And let's start with the list of these regions that Ukrainian drones have visited tonight. And I guarantee you there are a lot. And most importantly, these are regions that can already be considered a war zone inside Russia. Putin and people who support him brought it back home, just as it always happens with aggressors and bullies, by the way. So it was Krasnodar, Rostov, North Ossetia, Voronezh, Kursk, Belgorod. These are very active war zones. Stavropol, Oryol, Saratov, Penza, and of course, military objects on the territory of the temporarily occupied Crimea. It is super important to return the peninsula back to Ukraine because right now Russia uses it actively as a platform for attacks on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure. But let's talk about this very important target that Ukrainian drones damaged severely, and one of them is Mozdok. Mozdok is a big military air base, and it is home for Russian Tus and Russian MiGs. And for example, today we had a very long air raid alert because of these MiGs in the skies. Very often they put them in the skies not to target Ukraine, but simply to paralyze life. And then when you think that the next MiG is without missile and you continue doing something, Russians target and kill innocent people. And this is another dimension of evil. So whenever I learn about the attacks on these military air bases, I feel safer. Recently, the Ukrainian drones severely damaged Angels, located in Saratov region, and detonations continued for days. And it was very serious because it's not just about the aircraft, it is also about the storages of missiles, various maintenance instruments, and of course, lots and lots of fuel. So when targeted, they typically detonate for days and hours, and I hope something similar is happening in Mozdok. And once again, all these military air bases need to be located not that far away from the front line, but Russians try to relocate them a little bit. With each month, Ukrainian drones can reach deeper and deeper. The records of 1,800, 2,000, I think soon will be broken. And it's also very complicated for them logistically because the further they keep this aircraft and missiles from the front lines, the more time they need for the maintenance, the more time they need for preparation, thus more time for Ukrainian air defense systems, for intelligence to detect them. So neutralizing this network of military air bases and arsenals is definitely a very good and a very working strategy to implement the only working peace plan. Please share these videos if you share my opinion, and subscribe if you're new. We talk about important things here, and I think we are more prepared to various challenges literally in every corner of the world. And all because back in 2008, when attacking Georgia, Russia decided that it is okay to violate international rules. It's okay to cheer up violence, and that's what we have right now. I think that the Ukrainian experience has already proven that escalation management does not work with brainless bullies. And the only way to stop this is actually to defeat, demilitarize, and severely punish the responsible. And inexpensive Ukrainian drones, many of which are composed inside the country. By the way, let me know in the comments below, would you like a separate video about new introduced things in Ukrainian drones? Because literally every day we read about that in our media. I think it's important both for the military and also for the civilians for us to understand how quickly we develop, and it actually boosts the spirit of people. And these drones targeted an arsenal in Penza region, and that was a storage of various missiles that they also use for bombers. So typically a classical, arsenal, a classical military airfield is not just about the aircraft standing there. It's a combination of lots of evil instruments of war, starting with fuel, which we actually also demilitarize really well with our strikes on Russian oil refineries. But honestly, I miss this news. And I think this may be part of the obligation that Ukraine took when negotiating with Trump. And we clearly see that Russia humiliated both the American president and his negotiation strategy. And while Ukraine follows the rules, Russians keep targeting Ukrainian playgrounds, killing Ukrainian children, which is actually awful. And it's awful that the social media try to hide that to protect people, from really painful experiences. But I'm sorry, watching it is one thing and living in that is a totally different thing. So I hope people will share more truth from Ukraine, because that is important. So tonight, Russians claim 158. I think that may be true, but what is good that this flocks of Ukrainian drones are getting bigger and bigger. When they fly together, it's very difficult for the air defense. For example, air defense can catch a couple of them, but the rest continue their move. Also, we clearly see that Russian air defense is super weak. They were not prepared to defend themselves. They thought they will keep attacking others, once again, like classical bullies. And when they need to safeguard important for them energy or military objects, they constantly fail. That's what we see in Anhels. That's what we see in Mozdok. And these Ukrainian drones that keep developing target and destroy very, very important objects. And each time they are capable to reach deeper, and each time they are capable to trick Russian air defense. So Russia is being defeated. Do not listen to their propagandists. I hope there are no sane people who trust Putin. So don't trust messages from, Lavrov or Zakharova or other speaking heads from the Kremlin, because there is literally nothing in common between the reality of Russia and the way they describe it from the Kremlin. I know you know that, and just a kind reminder, let me read the list of these Russian regions visited by the Ukrainian drones once again, because in any lesson, practice makes perfect. Just think about that. Krasnodar, Rostov, North Ossetia, Stavropol, Oryol, Voronezh, Kursk, Saratov, Penza, Belgorod, and the temporarily occupied military objects in Crimea. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for the demonstration of solidarity with Ukraine. Check our new merch collection in the shop. A lot of t-shirts and cushions and stickers work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Please subscribe to my new channel where I share my civilian experiences, and I hope many of them can be useful for you, at least to understand what is life in times of the big war. And join me on X, Threads, Blue Sky, Discord, and Instagram. The links are in the description of this video. Thank you so much, and Slava Ukraini!